sex is used to sell lies in the alternative media, not just the mainstream media. At times we come across, especially if we're familiar with the subject matter, disinformation, the alternative media, but it's packaged in a particular way. When I say use sex to sell an idea, I don't necessarily mean just opposite sex. Some people just like being entertained by people on YouTube that they want to trust. That by nature they trust someone that appears to be a member of their fellow tribe, for example. And they may not have the proper alert warning systems within to realize that they are being lied to. So you can have a circumstance where men and women are being watched by men and women because they are considered to be people that they trust more than other people for what I would see as superficial factors. It's not just about editing production. It's a combination of factors. And being on YouTube long enough has helped me realize sometimes it is like high school, and it is a popularity contest, and it doesn't always come down to the content. When you see some people, right, put out videos, and I appreciate people that are open to a certain degree about their sexuality, but when they're using their cleavage to sell political propaganda, and where I can see someone's growth and subscriber count go in direct relation to a number of different factors together. You know, I'm thinking about one person in particular that was going in between InfoWars, in between InfoWars and another alternative media outlet. And it almost seemed for a while, it still does. I'm actually trying to stay off the internet. When I am on the internet, I'm uploading videos, I'm doing research, I'm posting to my own websites. I'm trying to stay off Facebook, but I'll respond once in a while to a message here and there. But I'm not spending a lot of time in analysis mode of the propaganda within the alternative media. It's sickening. But has this been on my mind? Have I been thinking about this and thinking about this not just for a few months, but for a few years? It's just that in recent months, I've seen some new examples of it through a particular person. As I said, who's been going back and forth between various individuals. And I was able to witness in the comment section, were all these people upset with this particular YouTube content creator for various reasons, to be as broad as possible. Then he brings her onto the team. And then you could see like the change in direction. You know, he's no longer Mr. Propagandist. You know, he's no longer this, that, and the other. He's got this young, a little bit dumb, and full of the propaganda that he's putting out, that his crew's putting out, that Alex Jones and his crew is putting out, that also had this young lady come and do man on the street interviews in Austin, Texas, some of which went terribly bad. Which, according to other YouTubers that caught it, some of that stuff was deleted from InfoWars. The really extreme cringe-worthy woman on the street interviews tried to make anyone questioning Trump look really, really bad. And I think that it's really dangerous when it's used to sell propaganda on the left or the right. And I've seen it on the left side. I've been attracted to women in my life that I wish were more independent. In general, I've always wished that there were more women in our society that were speaking the truth and in the independent media, but not necessarily doing it because there's a big paycheck. Not just doing it to market themselves to someone that may hire them in their media organization as they climb the ropes. You see, it is in the nature of a lot of human beings to let elements of that programming within our sexuality come out in their personality, right? To where it may be in someone's nature to be an actual prostitute on film. In their mind, it comes natural. If someone goes in a reporter direction of a true prostitute, what are the examples of the prostitute archetype? Male and female. But we're kind of looking at the female version of this. Because again, the ability for a set of boobies on a now a digitally hooked generation society. Many people single, many people depressed. You know, and they do say there's something therapeutic about boobies. You know, literally from the mother kitten feeding her baby kittens the milk from her breasts to people literally staring at digital human breasts. Oh, what a smart woman. Oh, yeah. And it's like whenever they're reading from the teleprompter, reading from the script, whether they're from the left or the right, I'm still seeing that same submissive woman. I'm not seeing a real liberated woman. You know, that's really gone her own way and speaking her mind independently. And I think that it is the nature of a lot of men and women to go with this biological code of behavior that's within. And a lot of women, mainstream kind of school of thoughts, they go with, well, what is there a trend around already and where the money is and where maybe there's people gathering around. That's not always where the safety nest is. That's not always the right direction. Those aren't always the right associates or men to be around just because they have money and they have media empires and they have fancy desks and they have things that can almost captivate the mind, money that can go out and buy a bunch of drinks and a bunch of meals for a bunch of people in a downtown area. Like these are captivating ways. Like I literally had a role model and someone that was somewhat of a father figure, but he really liked being worshipped and taking me around Portland, Oregon, taught me how to throw a few blows, taught me some interest. But a lot of things were like worshiping the A-Man show. And we're talking about this particular individual. And a lot of things were like done around the breaking of bread, if you will. The eating of meals in various restaurants in Portland, from a nice Italian restaurant to a German restaurant to various Chinese restaurants to various Japanese restaurants with good sushi to even Vietnamese on some occasions. Just a real taste of Portland. And I appreciated that friendship. But I also realized, like, you know, in his own little crazy world, there was a little bit of a grooming there. You know, Alex the subservient, and then everything being about his ideas and his vision. And other people, they take it to a more direct sociopathic level. They put out the bait. They pay people a certain amount of money. And they actually sit back and see if they'll turn. I was put in a example one time in which someone that I was associated with, someone I never met, but was associated with online, he interviewed me. And I put out my projection that Trump would be the selection and we would see a conflict with the East afterwards. And what he did is he deleted that video from his YouTube channel. And I realized I was being tested. Before the other guy was even there, I feel like maybe it was a test to see if I was on board because he kind of didn't even know very much about my ideas and things of that nature. And so someone could be bitched out, so to speak, or put into a bitch position, whether they're male or female, in the media, whether it's mainstream media or alternative media, if it's still based on that structure of hierarchy and putting out particular talking points and people not really being in it for the truth. People will whore themselves out. Men will whore themselves out. You know, we can see even how YouTube promotes elements of that, of building up the celebrity personality, of looking very pretty. If you look at the videos in which there are a lot of views, you know, we're talking about people that have millions of subscribers. These are videos that I can't even watch. And it's because of that personality, you know, they're talking and they're editing themselves in between every few seconds. They have this happy type of banjo music in the background and they're acting like they're an expert on how to do this and how to do that. And it's like a manic happiness that almost seems like a drug. Like those types of themed channels have millions of subscribers. And it's not something that I really understand. And I don't mean to bring up too many different topics, but it does come back to this similar strand. This similar theme. There are ways in which people are captivated by the superficial, by the physical. There's an element of our society that doesn't even believe in the spiritual. And it's a society that is on the search for the truth. It is also a society within the biological blueprint. This goes for women as well, which is why you could find a lot of women at female strip clubs. Why you're not necessarily going to find a straight guy at a gay strip club. You'll find a straight female at a female strip club. It's in our biological wiring to almost worship the female form. I don't think that's mindful. I think we should respect and defend and also respect the understandings of some women on spiritual ideas, but not just straight up like worship, a naked torso shaking its ass at you. And society has turned into that. That's not the same as respecting the feminine. And there's also a lot of distortions that are thrown at us in the media and society. Some of them very negative about men, especially men that respond to sexuality and go, oh, baby. And they're put in this category, at least I've grown up hearing about men being put in this category of being a pig. You're a pig. And that can cause some a mental effect on men that are told this repeatedly throughout their whole lives. And then some of us try to go beyond that, right? Go beyond being reactionary to like the dancing girl on the table and like that dirty East Portland strip club with a bunch of lonely men with crusty dollar bills. As a strung out girl dances, hoping to make $5 as Aerosmith's Run Away blasts away on the jukebox. See, a lot of people in this society, a lot of women, they're just trying to get fed. They're just trying to find an easier way to make a buck other than being in that East Portland strip club with a cracked out Aerosmith on the jukebox. That dancer, by the way, had to pay for. You not realize a lot of the girls got to pay for those dances. Got to pay for those jukebox hits. So this is something to think about. Have we really evolved? Or are we really the same barbaric society that's just shaking that ass? Show me who you're working for. You know, like literally people using like the torso of the female to sell a bottle of Coors Light. Literally. To fast forward to 2018, 20 years after just sitting there, or 10 years looking at that Portland bar and having these deeper understandings of sex being used to sell ideas and it being all around us and us being in the Matrix, and then realizing you can have a guy with 500,000 subscribers on YouTube that people love seeing that's going to talk about breaking through the Matrix, but it's all a deception to keep them in the Matrix. Once things get too rowdy and people really start questioning someone's intentions, then, right, some of that money that's been accumulated can actually hire a pair of breasts to repeat that man's talking points. And it's painful to know that these things are going on, that life hasn't really changed, that new ways of selling lies through sexuality are manifesting around us. It's still in its infancy. And with technology and combined people's digital addiction and addiction to people's sexual appetites, people being addicted to things online that turn them on, people, places, and things, political propaganda add together in this soup, this mix. It's like some of these people are like on the verge of just go all out, dude, and create your own brand of soda to go along with your logo. And the pair of tits. And the marked up bug out bag. And all of it. And on and on and on. And it's like, society is waiting. Waiting. Waiting for a day. I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream one day more women will be involved in what it is that we do. I think they already are out there. We don't always notice them. But there are women out there, those that we might consider externally beautiful, and maybe those that are a little less, that have something to value. Maybe it's on us, right, as people, men and women, to look beyond how attractive they are when it comes down to what is their message. Not their looks, not their ethnicity, not even their age in some cases. You know, I've heard a lot of negative things about African American women. And by the way, out of all the times that I've been assaulted by African Americans in this society in my lifetime, gee, they've all been male. But I sure have heard, and that's not to promote racism, I believe that people unfortunately become their environments. But I bring that up to say I've heard a lot of negative things from some black men on YouTube about black women. And I'll tell you what, when I look up information about psychic protection, spiritual protection, it just so happens that a lot of those speakers that are sharing great information from their neck of the hood happen to be black women. This world is so full of stereotypes and hatred and other people's issues with their mama and their dada and the media contaminating male-female relationships on top of it, that a lot of people are really screwed up. So when it comes to people, right, and their quest for truth, because I think that's innate within us, they're misled sometimes. Tribalistic tendencies, other things, their own body's wiring, right, could be working against their higher self or their soul's purpose. This is a constant theme throughout my videos. This gnosis, it's the idea that the spirit of the soul is associated with something higher than the manipulated form that the human body might even be. We might even be like a clone society for all we know. But that's not our true self. We're not really the body, you see. But all this comes home. All this comes home as we complete this video. And it makes sense, hopefully, for some of you. Because the solution lies within you. To not be captivated by those pretty hot bodies. The solution lies with you. That's like the spiritual deeper side of MGTOW, where most MGTOW men don't want to go. Beyond anger and into, I'm going to walk away from the whole thing entirely. And I'm also going to try to wake people up. Maybe even talk about what does a mindful relationship look like. And maybe we could talk about, like in a future video, what does the truth look like, regardless of the person behind it. Hopefully they're not a robot, but robot videos are becoming really popular these days. How do we, in just like a minute or so, analyze a video, a title, thumbnail or not, and get a vibe whether or not this person is totally full of crap trying to use us, or whether or not they are legitimate or being genuine in their intentions and the things that they're saying, that they actually believe the things that they're saying. Whether or not we actually agree with them is something entirely different, right? But it should not be measured by the size of their pocketbook, their subscriber count, how big he is as a dude, how hot she is as a chick, how clean their office space is, how nice their $2,000 bed is that they YouTube behind daily, how perfect their opening line is, how in a script it seems to be. I want something real in the men and women that I listen to on YouTube. And in another video, I'll talk about some of those things that I look for. Until then, I'm Alex Hansen, reminding you the path to the ultimate truth and place of power still lies within.